hustle. Look, let's put some money up, you can't make mine stop. I'm hot, nigga, like a pistol off the dime block. Before you change lanes, you should check your blind spot. Cause I'll be right there waiting like a bike cop with my non-cock. And I'm so hot, all a nigga really need is just one shot. To the dome, you be gone and it's no more. I could kill him going faster with the slow flow. However you want it, I got it in for the low. Come get it, I got it, you got it good, nigga, go. I hustle, I bang, I do it all for the dough. It's all for the dough.
What's going on, All for the Doe show? Today's topic is co-parenting. Why is it so hard to co-parent? Why is the woman giving problems? Why is the man giving problems? We need to know. We're going to ask a rider. Shanae?
Alex.
We got Alex, and we asked Alex, why is it so hard to co-parent?
I don't think the act of co-parenting in and of itself is that difficult. The first two words, honestly, that come to mind are selfishness and pettiness.
Okay.
I think, and I'd say a third one would be like pride. When you break up and you guys have a kid, I think the most immediate feeling and sense is that those feelings from the breakup, and then you guys have probably heard it said before, you know, who won the breakup, who's doing better afterwards.
Damn, you hitting it right. Everything just, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of what's on the forefront of their minds. The forefront of their minds should be the kid, or at least looking out for the kid in his best interest in the future. I'm not saying that this is every scenario. Obviously, there are couples out there that do make it work and they co-parent effectively and each go about their lives and support each other when they find other relationships, and that's great. That's how it should be. But for the ones that can't, I think it's that feeling of, well, I'm not going to help them out. Why should I have to give to them? They broke up with me, or she broke up with him, or he broke up with her, whomever. Or even the vice versa. Well, he broke up with me, so I'm not going to help him. Or, well, I broke up with you. I told you I was done with you, so why would I do anything for you? And I think that kind of selfishness and pettiness kind of supersedes that, and they're thinking of themselves, not the kid. You don't even have to like your partner, in my opinion. You don't have to like your ex. You don't have to even respect them. But I think you should respect them, especially when the kid is present, in front of the kid.
Yeah.
Just to set a good example, you don't want to set that mentality for them at a young age.
So do you think it's more bitterness on the mom or the dad? Because it seemed like the dads want to be there, but some of the moms got these hurdles that the guys got to jump over, rules that the guys have to do just to spend time, with the kid. No, you can't. I don't want him over your mama house. Or no, he can't go over your sister house because I don't like her. Or vice versa. Yeah,
I don't think it necessarily stems one way or the other. I do think by situations, I think that is how it typically goes. The girl is usually the one to enforce rules on the guy whenever the kid's over at dad's house or whatever. But I'm sure there's plenty of scenarios where the guy is the same way. He's like, I don't want you bringing him over to your mama's house. I don't want you bringing him over to your new boy toys house or whatever.
But is that right though? I understand not going over the new boyfriend or the new girlfriend house. I get that because it's all new. Right. I don't know if you stand with this person or what's going on. It's all new.
I think it's situational. If let's just to make up a scenario. Let's say the girl's mom is a drug addict, or a felon, or the guy's dad is a felon, or whatever the scenario is. Yeah, you wouldn't want your kid around that. So yeah, I think when
that's understandable.
Yeah, when you say, I don't want my kid over there when he's over with you, you're not bringing him to your mama's house or whatever, because X, Y, and Z. If you have a legitimate reason like that, I think that's perfectly valid. Yeah. If you're just doing that just to put restrictions on them and say what they can and can't do when the kid is with the other parent, I think that's not right. I've heard of some scenarios where like the dad takes the kid to the zoo or something. Okay. Kid comes back to the mom for like the next weekend. It's like, yeah, no, dad and I went to the zoo. why'd you take him to the zoo? I didn't tell him you could take him to the zoo. I didn't allow that. Like, who had to ask your permission?
And that's a big thing. If the kid is in my presence and it's my week to get him, shouldn't I be able to go or do what I want with my son or daughter?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to ask the mom, say, hey, is it okay that I take him or her to the zoo? Shouldn't I be able to wake up and say, we going to the zoo?
Yeah, I think you should.
Or do you think it should be more of a, where, hey, let me talk to his mom, because maybe, his or her first time going to the zoo, she might want to see the thrill on his face or whatever. So let me conversate and tell her, see if she okay with it.
Right.
Or should that be something that's conversated about, or should the dad be like, man, I'm going, and it is what it is?
I mean, if you're pre-planning stuff, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't, like, tell it, hey, I'm planning, let's call the kid Johnny. I'm planning on bringing little Johnny to the zoo.
Okay.
I don't think you should have to tell the other parent that. I also don't see a reason why you would withhold that information, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So
you shouldn't have to give an itinerary of what you're going to do with the kid when he's over with you.
And I get that, but I think in some people's eyes, I want to be the first one that take them here or take her there. I want to be present to see the look on their face. If you doing all this stuff first, then I ain't getting to see the enjoyment neither. Or should it be, okay, well, we'll go, you take to a place new, I take to a place new. Should it be something like that?
A solution that I could think of for that is, I was about to present that scenario. Oh man, you brought him to the zoo. I was going to do that next week with him when he was here with me.
Yeah.
And then the other parent feels like, oh man, now that's ruined.
Okay.
But if you're talking about like first, like, oh man, I really wanted to see his first reaction, or I wanted to do this or do that. Yeah, that moment's gone. You're not going to be able to get that. But what you can do, again, you can do this without having to like or even respect each other. But for the sake of the kid, you two should be able to brainstorm and be like, all right, well, hey, I'm sorry that you missed that. I'm sorry that this happened.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're apologizing because you took them there. I'm saying that you're just sorry on their behalf that they missed it.
They missed it.
But what you can do is like, hey, what are some other things that you want to see see his reaction to? What are some other things that you want to take him for a first to?
Yeah.
And then you help brainstorm with the other parent to be like, all right, well, since I did this first with him, let's come up with a first for you to do with them type scenario.
Yeah. Okay.
And you work it out that way. Again, you don't have to, you're doing this at the end of the day for the sake of the kid, in my opinion.
So do it seem like it's more of the woman being petty, or does it seem like the women have a right to act like they act when it comes to co-parenting with these kids?
I don't perfectly understand the question. Because I mean, yes, women can act petty, but so can guys.
Okay.
And I think,
well, us guys, when we act like that, we really got a legit reason for.
typically, yeah, we do.
Because if the guy have custody of the kid, and then the mom going over there getting them every other weekend or whatever, there's a reason for that. Because normally the court always gives the kid to the mom.
Yeah.
So if the dad got the baby and the mom got to go visit, either the mom was real messed up or the mom didn't do something that she's supposed to been doing.
Yeah.
So I think when he say no or yes, I think it's legitimate reason why. But to me, I feel when women do it, I think sometimes it's just
They're doing it just for the control.
out of spite. Yeah, because I want to control. Like I had a guy that came from California. He comes down and he visits his son every other month or whatever because they separated. I think he's a Mexican guy, come down and he'll sit there and he'll play. He said I play nice because I want to spend time with my son.
Right.
If she tell me, well, you can get it from this time to this time, he got to be back. He said I do that. He said I don't argue when I do it. He said because I'm not doing it to start anything with her is for my son. So he said I'm gonna do everything I can to spend all the time I can with my son. So if she tell me he said he's flew from California. If I fly from California, she said I only got an hour, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna spend an hour with my son, I'm gonna go about my business. He said ain't no need for me to argue because she gonna do or say what she wanna do. And I said I understand.
And one of for, the custody, however the court decided, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a glaring issue, like, dad gets custody because mom's a dope head or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's just a matter of, at the end of what the court has to do is they have to decide who is the individually better parent.
Who got the house and who's the
outside of those obvious issues, like they're a felon, they're a crackhead, they're whatever, they're in a gang, whatever. Outside of those obvious issues, if it's just two normal people and one gets custody and the other parent's going to be petty about it and be controlling, you see it sometimes where they're like, well, I'm controlling this, or I'm dictating what you can do with him because he's in my custody and he's my kid, and that's how the court decided. I'm like, that's how the court decided. But, there's that quote from Fast and Furious. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Yeah.
But you could have won by an inch. That doesn't mean that the other person is a bad parent.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they're in a bad situation or a bad environment for the kid.
Gotcha.
Again, outside of those obvious issues. But, and I think people look at those court determinations too much. They use them like ammunition. And they're like, well, the court said that I get custody, and so I'm going to tell you what you can do with my son. And I'm like, that's not really how that should go.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It should. So we almost to your destination. Anybody you want to say bye to, hi, shout out to?
No, I just want to thank you for having me and for having me on the show and asking my opinion. I appreciate it. It was an interesting topic.
Appreciate you for being on there.
Say hi to all the viewers, and let's get the conversation rolling in the comments. Get those opinions out there.
Thank you. Peace out, y'all.